Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another Incursio the Gamer Dungeons & Dragons quick build video. Today we have with us the Lord of Hongyuan Honglu. Now he's a wonderful ID of Season 6 of Limbus Company, and before we get into D&D, let's talk about Limbus. Now, he is a Poise Rupture unit, of course, who applies defense and offense level down, as well as Gluttony damage up and defense level up, as well as some unique effects such as Unrelenting Storm and Exalted Command. But what we really want to focus on is that skill 3 of his. Now, he has skill 3-1, which he hits unconditionally, right? Then skill 3-2 and 3. Skill 3-1 hits, then he asks, do I have any allies left on the field? If yes, use skill 3-2. If no, use skill 3-3. Now, skill 3-3 is great. It's like eating a hamburger. It's wonderful. It has many layers to it. It's great. Or like eating spaghetti and meatballs, right? Beautiful, beautiful meal. But you can always add more, because that skill 3-2 forces your ally to use their attack in Limbus, of course, and can also do so in D&D. That's like eating a hamburger with fries and a shake. It's like eating spaghetti and meatballs with a side of cheesy garlic bread, or a normal garlic bread if you can't have cheese. It's truly, truly magnificent, and I love this ID. But now is time we get into the Dungeons & Dragons build. I've held you here long enough. Let's get right into it. Let's get into the leash holder of all Heisho. Now, of course, as he is based off of Jia Chu from the main story, he has great physical stats. Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not played Canto 8, or, don't want spoilers in general, please come back to this video another time. You will always have another opportunity. And now, if you don't have any intentions of playing up to Canto 8, or don't have any intentions of playing Limbus, or already done with that section of the story, feel free to keep watching, as, Jia Chu is a very physical guy. He's very strong. Strength 18, Dex 20, Con 14. Intelligence will be your dump stat. Wisdom and Charisma are slightly less so dump stats, because he needs to be a charismatic, wise individual, as the Lord of Hongyuan. Now, of course, walking speed 30, hit points 52, AC 17, Initiative 5. He's going to be a male variant human fighter, level 6, dumping all of them into fighter for Battle Master. Remember, at level 6, you gain an extra feat as a fighter. He's very feat oriented, he loves them. Now, saving throws, of course, strength and con come from fighter, but dex comes from resilient, another feat. He's very, very physical. You guys saw Jia Chu in the main story. He fights people with a stick. A literal well, of course, it is ego, half-manifested ego, to, admit it. Additionally, there's a bunch of talismans, and, is also part of the pinky. I warned you guys, spoiler alerts ahead, but moving on from that. 11, 10, 14 for passive senses, respectively, and 10 feet of blind sight. Now, in normal Honglu, I would personally say maybe 10 feet of night vision, right? Or dark sight, or whatnot, right? But he doesn't have the eye on him right now. The elders can't really watch, his Twitch live stream. So, since he has the eye gouged out or covered up or whatnot, he has blind sight instead. Helps him fight, as he has one eye. Here are your proficiencies, and now let's move on to the skills. Now, of course, as the Lord of Hongyuan, you're going to need a couple of things. He has athletics, history, insight, intimidation, and survival. Survival, intimidation, and athletics come purely from Jia Chu's side, as he is the ID of the super strong older brother, of the Kong family, of course. And insight and history come from being the Lord of Hongyuan. You're going to want those proficiencies if you are, a lord. But moving on from that, to our actions. 2 attack actions per turn. He has a glaive in this ID, but Jia Chu uses I believe it was quarterstaff equivalent, right? It is just a staff with a bunch of talismans. It's ego. But in this case, he uses the glaive. And, of course, you have dash, disengage, dodge, grapple, shove. And in addition to that, unarmed strikes, you also have superiority dice. You'll gain a 5th superiority dice at level 7, which is the optimal level for Lord of Hongyuan Honglu. If you're playing a one-shot, ask your DM if you can please be level 7. This way, maybe, bring your stats a little bit down, but bring that level a little bit up, just so you can get that 5th superiority dice. It will help you and your allies so much. It's amazing, just honestly. You'll see why in a quick little bit as I explain things. Additionally, Fighter 5 gives you 2 attacks per action. We love that. Bonus actions. Polar Master, bonus attack. It's a little bit less damage, of course, but it'll do. Additionally, you have maneuvers such as Commander's Strike. This is going to be your bread and butter of Lord of Hongyuan Honglu. When you take the attack action in your turn, you can forgo one of your attacks. Since you have two, you are going to be able to do one attack and then use the other one, as well as your bonus action, to give it to your ally to strike using their reaction. Meaning, say you have Heisho Faust and she does a crap ton of damage, and she's like super high leveled at that point in the game, she can use her attack, which hits exponentially harder than your attack, and just beat the crap out of the enemy. It is going to be lovely. Additionally, they will be able to add 1d8, the superiority die, to that damage roll. So whatever they roll for damage, plus an additional 1d8. It is beautiful, and Commander Strike is truly magnificent. Now, of course, you also have Second Wind, just in case you're out of points for maneuvers, or Polearm Master bonus attack really isn't cutting it and you're low on HP. Speaking of which, reactions. You want the Lord of Hongyuan Honglu to get hit. That is why his HP pool is a little bit higher than Faust. But let's talk about this. Polearm Master, Opportunity Attack, and Sentinel Attack. When you get hit, you're just going to hit back. Additionally, if you do hit back and they're within 5 feet, their movement speed is reduced to 0 during that turn. It is truly amazing how versatile Lord of Hongyuan Honglu is. He can be a tank, he can be a damage dealer, he can be a support unit for all that matters. And that is what the ID in Limbus Company is. He sure hits hard, but he also enables the other Heisho pack IDs to hit hard as well. He doesn't hog all the glory for himself unless skill 3-3 comes in and he's the only Heisho, or H-core unit on the field. Then he'll, take all that damage, slap it on the enemy, eat that spaghetti and meatballs. But as of right now, when you are playing alongside Heisho Faust, you can maximize both of their potential. Anyways, moving on. For the other, additionally, you have Action Surge. This means you can attack 4 times per turn if you really, really want to. Of course, because of extra attack. Last 2 maneuvers, Bait and Switch and Maneuvering Attack. You can of course replace one of these two, or at a higher level, gain another maneuver that would say maybe knock the enemy prone. That would be pretty cool, and therefore you would gain advantage on your attacks, and etc, etc. But Bait and Switch basically swap the position of you and an ally, and then add 1d8 to both of your AC. This doesn't provoke opportunity attacks, by the way, which is absolutely amazing. Additionally, Maneuvering Attack allows you to allow an ally to move up to half their movement speed without provoking an opportunity attack. The Lord of Hongyuan Honglu is literally the king of aggro with this one. But anyways, moving forward from that, he is beautiful with maneuvers. The more maneuver dice he has, the better. That is purely what you want, as Battle Master is really versatile, but he is kind of limited by the amount of dice he has. Moving on to the inventory, all you need is a glaive and studded leather, which come with your class. It is beautiful how wonderful this ID is, really. And of course, as Jiachu's part of the Pinky, he does have maybe a backpack full of useful items that he can carry with him. I don't know too much about the Project Moon universe, or the Wings, or each individual district, but what I do know is Jiachu really only needs that ego, weapon and whatever clothes are on his back, as well as, of course, his assistants and his Heisho and whatnot, yada yada yada. Now, features and traits. Class features. You only take Fighter, which is lovely. Athletics, Insight, Blind Fighting, of course, because you don't really need anything else. Dueling is nice, but it's just another 2 points of damage, so Blind Fighting it is. Now, Second Wind, Action Surge come with Battle Master. That's what you want to take. This way you can have superiority dice and then maneuvers. Additionally, Woodcarver's Tools. I mean, Jiachu does. It is an ego, but I do like the idea that he sort of had to carve out that quarterstaff and then maybe put the talismans on himself. It just adds a little bit of flavor, Ability score improvement, you take Resilient. That way you get the Dex. Additionally, extra attack. Wonderful stuff. Species. Take Variant Human. Deep Speech for the Pinkies, maybe Secret Code. Additionally, skills. Take History, because you are the Lord of Hongyuan. And Polearm Master Feat. Now let's go to all the feats. Sentinel and Polearm Master go together with that reaction. Resilient, go for saving throws and dex, of course, and Savage Attacker from Soldier as your background. Lets you deal a little bit of extra damage. You don't want the Lord of Hongyuan dealing maybe 3 damage a turn after all. Background. Dexterity and Strength. Those are going to be what you dig into, as you can see here, of course. Now, Honglu is a neutral good male with a dark purple right eye and bright cyan left eye. However, he's gouged his eye out, most presumably in this ID, so here we go. He only has a dark purple right eye. Additionally, medium size, about 5'10", and 130 so pounds, give or take, I would estimate, and about 30 years old. In this ID, don't know how old he is. I don't know how old Jia Chu is, actually, but moving on. Pale skin and raven black hair, and he, as the Lord of Hongyuan, has his faith in Hongyuan. Now, of course, you add whatever you want to personality, ideals, bonds, flaws, appearance, notes, and extras. As remember, I only build up to level 6, but in this case, if you are level 7, that would be optimal for both you and, pretty much your one-shot or campaign that you're playing in, to be a little bit higher level than everyone else as the Lord of Hongyuan. But if you can't, that's perfectly fine. Level 6 is also more than enough, really. But yeah. This is the Lord of Hongyuan Honglu build if he was with allies. The alternative is switching out all those maneuvers for things that benefit yourself and yourself only. I really didn't focus too much on that end, of course, because I was keeping in mind Heisho Faust with this ID. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please, in the comments down below, leave what else you want to see. I really love listening and reading your suggestions. And that'll be it. Goodbye, and good night.